I do live on the river, and I just love the stillness. It's a very reflective environment, I think, and most of the people that I've met that live up and down the Bass River are very similar in that they love being near the river and the peacefulness and all the rest. My name is Moragh Mackay, and I work at the moment with the Bass Coast Landcare Network. They're a consortium of 10 landcare groups across this southwest corner of Gippsland, and I live in Bass on the Bass River, and so it's a special place for me, and I work a bit more closely with the Bass Valley Landcare Group.
I'm Jodie Gager. I started working with the Bass Valley Landcare Group in 1996. I wrote a management plan for the Bass catchment, and that involved talking to a lot of the farmers on their properties and walking around their properties and getting their stories and compiling them all together. I currently work for Bass Coast Landcare Network. I'm a coordinator for those, and I focus on corporate partnerships and delivering programs. We were all pretty excited about the big excavator.
Well, my job at the moment with Landcare is working specifically with farmers in a sort of a training capacity. So I work with around 6 or 7 farmers at a time, and using environmental best management practice techniques to assess where they're at with their farm management and work out what their priorities and their targets are over time. One of our main focuses definitely is waterways, because we've got some very steep slope country, lots of gullies feeding into the Bass River, and Western Port being a degraded system, we know that the Bass River in our catchment is impacting on that. This is almost the beginning of around a 1.2 kilometre section of the river that was planted in 1997. It joins up with an older planting, which was the original planting of the Bass Valley Landcare Group in about 1991-92, and then there's another section beyond the other end of this area that was done in 2000, and that's another 800 metres or so. So there's lots of different age classes, which is good, because when you have all the same age class, then you don't have as many habitat values in your plantings. So we still find that we get loads and loads of ibis and cormorants and different types of herons coming in and roosting every single night. They come in from the coast, fly up along the river, and they fly right over the top of my house. And then if you come into Bass at dusk, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of birds roosting in some of the dead willows, dead silver wattles. So yeah, dead timber is okay to have still in this river environment.
I believe acknowledgement is a really important thing, and to acknowledge Melbourne Water's participation in helping to get those sort of things done, and to acknowledge the landowner's contribution, and to acknowledge the professional support staff in between, that it is a huge job and everyone does put a lot of work in, and we need to acknowledge that all together and work together as a community. And I think acknowledgement is as important as digging the holes a lot of the time.
I remember the first day that we had our meeting with the staff from the waterways team from Melbourne Water came down, and I think it was Rob brought down this fantastic aerial photograph of the full length of the Bass River, and it was taken clearly. The photography was taken at a point in the day when the sun was shining directly on the water surface, and for that reason we could see all the billabongs up and down the river network were shining out really clearly, and we were all really blown away by just how many billabongs there were. And it was at that point we sort of discussed how it would be great to work on the billabongs together, and in terms of investigating what values they have now and how we might work to restoring them over time.
We had the Scout planting here in 1997, and it was a world record planting. We did over 60,000 trees in the weekend. The community in Bass really inspired me that weekend, and from then on, after that day, a lot of the community come down and ask us, oh, what are you up to, how can we help? I've been thinking about this on my property, can I be involved as well? The project officers that we have that go out and spend time one-on-one with farmers in their paddocks and in their houses with their families, that one-on-one engagement with a farmer on his land seems to do so much for lifting their motivation to put positive things back into their landscape. So for instance, I had one farmer that when I visited him, he just amazed me how much he knew where the fences should go and how it should happen. And I visited him that day and he'd never done anything, and I went back about 18 months later and he'd fenced himself 2 k's of creek, he'd planted all the trees himself, and he was just so excited to show me what he'd done and what he was going to do the next spring. And all it took was one afternoon of spending time with him and his family and going for a big walk, and it just achieved so much on ground.
I think that there's at least 8 years worth of work already on the books ready to go, and that's without really even trying. That's just landholders looking over the fence and being inspired by what's already happened in the catchment and wanting to have a piece of the action.